Hello and welcome. My name is Jill Hawthorne, and I'm the Associate Director of Family Programs, and I am a proud Pitzer alumna. First, I want to introduce my colleagues from the engagement team who are on the call as well. When I say your name, please wave your hand. Shannon Spaccarelli, Brooke Butler, Carolina Van Zee, Tanzir Ahmed, Yolanda Davis Corey. And I know that there's someone else in there. So I think Alicia just joined, so she could say hi. Thank you all. It takes a full team to run something like this. Before I go any further too, I want to make this a little more social and informative for everybody. And so I want to ask if everyone would edit their virtual nameplate, their profile, and add your city and state or country. So we all will get to know a little bit more about each other just by being able to see our Zoom squares. For example, mine says Jill Hawthorne, Pomona, California. Okay, so if you can do that, you don't have to, but again, it'd be a great way to see where everyone's coming from. And there are still people coming in, I see. Okay, so I'm going to continue. This family and student reception is part of a series of virtual and in-person events over the summer to welcome the class of 2027. This event is tailored to connect incoming students and families with other new students and families. And speaking of the new students, I want to share just a few statistics with you about your class. As of today, there are 279 students in your class, and we had a 15.9 admitted rate. There's 14.8% of the class is first generation, 46.6% are students of color, 8% international students, 42.3 in-state, 57.7 out-of-state, with a total of 38 states represented by the class and 26 countries represented by the class. The top 3 intended majors are environmental analysis, psychology, and political studies. And we know there's so much more exciting things to learn about you as you make your way to Pitzer. Our purpose tonight is to highlight Pitzer programs and resources for students and families. We will also go over the logistics of family orientation and move-in with a Q&A period for your questions. Now I would like to introduce President-Designate Strom Thacker and his wife, Isabel, to invite both of them to the virtual microphone.
Thank you, Jill. It's great to be here with everybody. Nice to see a good crowd turn out for our virtual session here. My wife Isabel and I are here and delighted to join you. I'll introduce her a little bit more later, but I thought I'd also tell you a little bit about myself and my path that brought me to this room, because I'm as new as you and your students are. So I'm just coming into Pitzer. As Jill said, I'm the president-designate. So I start on the job July 1st. And I'm coming from Union College in Schenectady, New York. That's where we are now. We're on the East Coast, getting ready, planning our move and doing all our organizing and packing. As I like to say, we're really excited about the move, just not the moving. That's the least fun part of this job, of this task anyway. So I just want to echo Jill's thanks and thank her and the rest of the team for making this happen. And again, thanking all of you for coming, and the students especially. There's a big group on this meeting tonight, and there's another larger group behind them. So if at any time any questions come up and you're wondering whom to ask, just come to one of the folks on this call. And if we don't know the answer, we'll get you to the person who can. And we'll answer as many questions of yours as we can tonight as well. So welcome to the Pitzer family. I'm excited to be joining it with you. I think you'll find from what I've heard from everybody that I've talked to so far, and already feeling it myself to a degree as well, is that once you join this family, it'll be a part of you for life. And I have experienced a certain degree of that myself because I'm a Pomona alum. So I graduated from Pomona in 1988. And I have a strong affection and affiliation with Claremont. and even with Pitzer as well, because I actually ate several meals at Pitzer when I was a Pomona student, took a class there at Pitzer, which is one of the great things that your students will be able to do. And to be honest, students do that more now than they did back in my day. There's a lot more sort of cross-fertilization across the campuses than there was then. But one of my favorite facts about my time at Pitzer was, or Pomona, there I go, I'm already converted, was that the class that I took at Pitzer, I have taught myself as a professor, as a faculty member for my entire career. In fact, I've taught it more than any other class. And the faculty member who taught it retired sometime in the last few years and is still in the area. I look forward to connecting with him and maybe comparing some notes about how our course has evolved over time. So, I'm excited to come home. I'm excited to be in Claremont again, but I'm also just super excited to join Pitzer. And again, I think you'll find the community is a special one, but also the mission and the vision for the college. And the way I like to think about it and describe it to folks is that where Pitzer has been for its whole existence for these last 60 years in promoting social justice, environmental sustainability, student engagement, interdisciplinary approaches to the world's most challenging problems. That's where Pitzer has been for a long time, and the world is kind of coming around to that perspective. And I think in many ways looking to Pitzer for leadership. And you as students and the families of the students really have an opportunity to capitalize on that in this wonderful, small, tight-knit community, but that is still linked to those critical approaches and key problems in the world today. So I'm a little bit more than a little jealous that you're starting on this journey, because the journey that you're starting now really has shaped my entire life. And in fact, when I was shortly after graduating from Pomona, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And Isabel said to me, she said, I can tell you really miss being in college. You should do that for your career. And it turned out she was absolutely right. And I've done it and absolutely loved it and adored it. So again, I'm very excited to be joining you. Before coming to Union, I've been here for 7 years. Before that, I spent 20 years at Boston University. And before that, my first faculty position was at a university in Mexico City called ITAM. So if any of you are Spanish speakers, you're welcome to communicate with either of us in Spanish or English. We're happy to speak in either of those two languages. Unfortunately, we don't have any others, but we're good on those two. So I wish you all the very best as you start down this journey. As I mentioned, I'm pretty envious of it. I'll introduce my wife a little bit more now, but Isabel and I, we actually met on a study abroad program in Madrid, Spain, when we were both juniors in college. Pomona at the time shared a program with Middlebury, which is where Isabel went. And so I would just encourage the students in the audience and the families to keep that option and that opportunity in mind. It was literally life-changing for me. In addition to meeting my future spouse, it also really is where I fell in love with the Spanish language, with conducting original research, and sort of thinking about the world in a much broader way. So I would encourage you all to think about those and other ways that you might get involved in experiential learning as well, which is one of Pitzer's real strengths. So Isabel has spent her entire career pursuing missions very similar to what is important to Pitzer in social justice work in particular. She's an attorney who's assisted clients in finding humanitarian relief in immigration and other legal matters. And you'll find her very engaged with Pitzer, and I'm sure you'll see her around campus quite a bit. So I'll turn it over to her very briefly to say hi.
Hello, I'm happy to be here. I'm looking forward to being out in Claremont and getting to know Pitzer better and spending time with all of y'all. So thank you.
So again, thank you all for coming. If either of us can be of any help or any of the other staff on the call can be of any help at any time, please do let us know. And I look forward to seeing you all in Claremont. Thanks for coming. And we'll be here for the rest of the call, but just wanted to say those words of thanks at the outset.
Excellent. Thank you so much, President-Designate Thacker and Isabel. So nice to have you here. Before I move to our program, I want to give just a little shout out to members of our Family Leadership Council who are here. I'm going to have them wave their hand when they say hello. If you are interested in the Family Leadership Council or just being active, you can fill out our volunteer form that's on our website. And we'll put it into the chat too, just so you know, it's super easy to get in touch with us, and you can be part of Family Leadership, Family Association, which you all are, but Family Leadership Council, volunteer activities. I'd like to have Linda Kwan raise her hand, wave. Thank you, Linda. Ban Chen, raise your hand and wave, please. Hallie Croner, please raise your hand and wave. And Ekta Champsey, please wave your hand and wave. And if anyone else came on the call after, please unmic and introduce yourself. Okay. Okay, thanks. So I want to, at this time, invite Elena Session-Goins, Associate Dean of Students and Director of Campus Life, to the virtual microphone.
Hello all. So as Jill said, I am Elena. I have been at Pitzer College for 12 years. Although I'm currently the Associate Dean of Students and Director of Campus Life, I started at Pitzer as a residence hall director, first living in Mead Hall with all of our juniors and seniors, and then I moved into West, East, and Scandera, so working with our sophomores. And Pitzer is my family, much like Strom talked about. It has become family to me, and that is why I've stuck around for 12 years. One of my greatest joys, quite frankly, professionally, is getting to meet families and new students as they transition into Pitzer. My most recent position before this was as the Director of Student Activities and Orientation. And so my current team, gets to plan the new student orientation program. All of our new students and families should have gotten, their first communication about, getting all your forms in and, filling out the form for orientation adventure and for housing. There'll be a lot of more information shared throughout the summer with you all about selecting a first year seminar and doing health insurance information and any disability accommodations. So the summer is definitely full of a lot of data collection for us, wanting to make sure that we're prepared for you all to get to Pitzer in August. And then once all of the students get here and the families get here, we will for sure have a wonderful orientation program for you, with the goals of bringing our new students together in community with both fellow new students as well as with upperclassmen students. We introduce all of our new students over a 10-day period to the academic kind of curriculum and get people registered for classes. We send them all out on 3-day orientation trips all around Southern California. I'm assuming you all know, but you can do backcountry trips, you can do camping trips, or you can do local trips that stay on campus and just go out locally into the community. In my 12 years of working at Pitzer, students have consistently said that the orientation program really helps them with their transition to Pitzer. Transitioning to college and transitioning away from home can be really hard. There's nothing like your own home. And so being able to spend, a week and a half with both current Pitzer students as well as staff and faculty really has consistently and historically helped with that transition. And then once you kind of get settled and you get your classes and you begin to learn from your peers about, what's it like to be a Pitzer student, there's a lot of ways to get involved. Obviously, our Pitzer campus is global, and the 7 Cs are global. We have students coming internationally from around our country as well as locally. And so we have all kinds of student organizations that students can join. They can join student orgs around, different identities, around common interests, around ways to be physically well and fit. There's a lot of ways to get involved. You're going to hear from 2 of my colleagues really shortly in career services and in residence life. And they're going to talk more about those experiences. But in addition to the orientation experience, the Office of Student Affairs, we support students around, like, if they're having a hard time with mental health and wellness. Our Pitzer Academic Support Services that does disability accommodations. We do, as I said, career services and kind of like life planning, if you will. And then we also, serve in the on-call capacity. I think Letty's going to talk a little bit more about that, but campus doesn't necessarily turn off. And so there's always a way for students to get a hold of our on-call team, both at the student level as well as the professional level. And so that's part of the student affairs responsibilities as well. And then Pitzer Pomona Athletics is another part of our division of student affairs. We love our student athletes. They're extremely accomplished as athletes. They're also extremely accomplished as students. I think we just won an award with like the highest GPA in NCAA, Pitzer and Pomona. And so the Student Affairs Office is there for your students. We are supportive of people that want to get involved, and we're supportive of students that just need a little extra support. We also liaise a lot with our TCCS, the Claremont College of Services resources, everywhere from Monsoor Counseling Center to Student Health, our identity-based centers, our Empower Center, which supports our students that have had, Title IX, concerns and want support, as well as many other things like the library, the chaplains, and whatnot. So Student Affairs is definitely going to be a point of contact if anybody ever has questions about your students kind of out of the classroom experience at Pitzer. And our hope is that all students begin to feel like Pitzer is home for them. So that's a little bit about student affairs and a little bit about your new students' transition experience. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Elena. Now I would like to invite Leticia Romo to the virtual microphone.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you everyone for being here. As was mentioned, my name is Leticia Romo. She, her, hers are my pronouns. I'm the Associate Dean of Students and Director of Residence Life and Conference Services. So I just want to take a moment before I dive into what I have to share and just say thank you for the students who are coming and joining us in August, and also for the parents who are entrusting their students and their education with us. I can tell you that not only myself, my colleagues, and our staffs are really excited to welcome in our new class. We do this with knowing very well that this is a moment of transition, but also a lot of growth as they continue on in their time here. I know for my staff in particular, working in residence life, we really want to help create an environment where our students feel like they come home at the end of the day or in the mornings when they're going to class or whatnot. And so we do have a professional staff member in each of our area. So our first year area has a resident director, and then they have a staff of resident assistants who really focus on building community, and building community looks very different for everyone. And so it's everything from, going to sporting events to doing alternative weekend night events, right? So having ice cream socials, a movie night, arts and crafts, whatever that looks like, in an effort for us to make sure that our students feel like they have a place here. And so, so I say that because probably what you all, and what I really want to say before we go from there, is your students should have access, and students, you should have already gone to your portal and filled out your housing application. Now, if there's one word of advice that I'm going to share, and I will say this every year, it is so important that our students fill out their housing application as honestly and truthful as they can. So parents, sometimes that means you can't be there when they're filling it out because they don't want to tell you that they like their messy rooms, right? Or they don't want to tell you that they ain't going to bed at 9 p.m. But it's really important that you be as honest and as reflective on what's going to make your student or you as a student be successful in matching, because that's what we use, that survey, that's what we use to find your roommate. And I can tell you that there's two instances that sometimes we can tell that it was a parent that filled it out, because they'll say, my student is very clean and my student, goes to bed early and wakes up very early. And then we match them with someone who actually is that way. And then we have to go in and try to fix this situation in a very developmental approach. So we do have them talk out their roommate agreements type of stuff. But I can tell you that we can avoid all that if we just answer that very honestly. But you know, sometimes things will happen, and I hope that your student, and I hope that you all know that these things are normal as our students begin to understand who they are, as they begin to understand who they are as roommates, as friends, as just individuals. And so if at any point there is a need, something's happening, or you just want someone to check in on your student, please do not hesitate to contact us. I would much rather have you sharing, you know, all the information that you want to share with us, and having us connect with your student, our residents. Now, we won't be able to tell you what happens. I won't be able to tell you what the conversation is like or what the solution was like. But I promise you that either myself or my staff or one of my colleagues will be doing our darnest to make sure that we connect with your student and connect them with the right resources for them. So I just want to make sure that I'm very clear with that. I know that there's a lot of my colleagues are parents also, and so we really understand that sometimes this transition is as much of a process for our parents as it is for our students. And so we'll try to help in that transition as well too. Yeah, so just some important dates for you all to keep in mind. The application should be open now for housing. I believe that opened at the beginning of June, and that will close at the end of June. The first week of July is when we will do some virtual opportunities for your student and to meet other students to see if they're able to find someone that they connect with, that they want to live with in the academic year. Now, if they don't find someone, or if they're like, you know what, I don't want to attend, or I'm gonna put my name in the hat and see who I get paired up with, that's okay too. But this is for those students who maybe want to plan that a little bit more, or want to know who their roommate is, and to have them meet other people and get to know others. So that'll happen the first week of July. And then your student will be given about a week to be able to let us know if they did find somebody that they want to room with. And if they didn't, again, that's okay. A week after that closes, I believe it's the 21st of July, is when we'll contact all of our residents and let them know where they've been placed. So those are the important dates. If something happens after the selection and, do you need to look into another space, or maybe you're nervous about what this looks like, we're here to help, and all you have to do is give us a call or shoot us an email at housing@pitzer.edu. So my staff and I check that email, and we're ready to go. We're excited to have you all here with us on check-in day. For orientation, you'll check in into the residence halls. It's really important after you find out who the roommates are that you connect with your roommate, because you don't need 3 refrigerators or 2 refrigerators sometimes. So really thinking about how do you make that space what you want that space to be. Do you want it to be more relaxing? Do you want it to be very focused on academics, or whatever that looks like? You and your roommate can figure that out together prior to coming to campus. But if you do come to campus, we have a re-room, which is things that our upperclassmen have kind of donated back to our future residents who might want to use it. So refrigerators, microwaves, sometimes sofas, you name it, it's probably in there. Lamps, fun, funky lamps too. So I think that's all I have for now. I'm sure there's going to be some questions that I'd be happy to answer. But yeah, thank you all, and see you in August.
Thank you very much, Leticia. At this time, would like to welcome Brad Tharp in Career Services, who can introduce himself. Go ahead and bring yourself to the virtual microphone.
Thanks so much, Jill. Hi, folks. As Jill said, my name is Brad Tharp. I'm an Associate Dean of Students and Director of the Career Center. I have been at Pitzer for 8 years and have been in Southern California for 11. As you may have guessed already, Southern California took away my hair, but not my accent. So I have carried that forward, and we'll probably do so. So as others have said, let me just add my voice to say we are so very glad that you've chosen to join the Pitzer community. And we will look forward to welcoming you as students and as families, hopefully in 3D in just a few weeks. So I'm going to do just a couple of quick things. First, let me say this to the students on this call. Over the past few months, you have made a very important life decision in consultation with your families based on your values and your goals out of the communities that you're a part of. You've made the important decision to come to Pitzer, and we are very glad you've done that. Please know the Career Center, our team of folks, and many, many faculty and staff members here, we're here to help you make your next set of important life decisions. Where will you spend your summers in internships or research, service in some ways? What will you look to do after you graduate? So please know here at Pitzer, we take a very holistic approach to that process. You may be coming into this community saying, this is what I want to do for a career. This is how I want to apply my gifts and talents into the future. Some of you may be coming in like I was, and I think like most people, where you really aren't sure quite what direction you'll head in. Please know that many of us are here to help you be in an intentional process to explore and make those decisions for yourself, and then help you achieve whatever goals you set for yourself. So that's really our goal here. So I'll just simply say that we've got a whole team of people, and in many ways, a whole community of people who are here to support you in that process. Let me quickly say to the parents and family members on this call, I'm with you. My oldest child is headed off to college in just a few weeks. We have no clue what that's going to look like. You know, when you're here on campus, if you get to come and you want to go get a drink and talk about that, if I've got some time, I'm up for it. Let's make that happen. So what I want to do today is very, very briefly, I'm going to show you 3 quick slides. And they're going to be about what might be some of the pressing concerns you would have when you show up. Let me just say right up front, we want career exploration and planning to be a part of your entire Pitzer process. We know your first few weeks here, you need to get accustomed to your classes. You need to make new friends. You need to explore Pitzer and the Claremont colleges. We want to support you in that. That said, I want to give you a couple of things to just think about and maybe prepare for before you come to Pitzer. Does that sound okay with everybody? Good. I love nods, thumbs up, warms my heart, folks. Thank you very much. Helps me. So let me very briefly do this. If you are interested in working on campus, and I've done the slides just so you can do a screenshot or something if you want to, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. On-campus jobs will get posted on Handshake. Handshake is our primary career services management platform for all of the Claremont colleges. So that'll be something for you to get to know. If you just Google Pitzer Career Services, right on our homepage is a link to that. Let me say right now, and I may say this again in a minute, please don't try to log into Handshake until the very beginning of August. We will we will let you know when an account has been set up in that system for you. If you actually try to log in before that, it kind of throws the system off a little bit. So please hang tight. You're all here today because you're go-getters. I love that and appreciate it, but just please hang tight to the beginning of August to log into Handshake. One of the main things is to work on campus or off campus, you will need what's called I-9 documents. And these are documents to show that you're eligible to work in the US. I won't go through a whole list of those. They're listed on the student employment website. If you identify as an undocumented student or an international student, there's also some specific information on that website for you. But please know you're going to need to bring with you original documents. Often this is a passport, driver's license, social security card. And sometimes students will come to campus, have left those things at home, and then realize they need them, and it kind of backs the process up until they arrive. We will post positions. Please follow the directions to apply. Please also know we will do an on-campus job fair. Usually it's outside. It's a lot of fun, a lot of people there. Probably it will be the Thursday of the first week of class. So again, we'll confirm all of that, get that out to you, but it will definitely be in that first week and probably on that Thursday afternoon. And there's the student employment website for on-campus jobs. Okay. The next thing I want to say is here for the students on the call, here's some suggested action items you might want to take really in that first semester, maybe, right? So one of those would be to activate Handshake, go on, complete your profile. Again, after the beginning of August, you can go ahead and do that. You can download the app for iOS or Android. Make a career advising appointment. I promise we're not scary in our center. It's great to start early. Again, we're not asking you to do that the first or second week of class, but maybe into September, October, November. Let us get to know you. You get to know us. Let's start this conversation with each other. You can make those appointments on Handshake. We will have drop-ins where you can come by. We often have a golden retriever in our office, PETA. She's wonderful and beautiful and a lot of fun. She usually shows up about once a week, but we don't tell you what day. So you just have to come by and see if she'll be there, right? And then there's, please take advantage too. I promise you weekly, just at Pitzer, there's on average 3 or 4 career-related events. At the Claremont colleges, there's literally dozens in the fall. Just come to something, come to a workshop, come hear an employer speak about their organization on campus. Engage with us a little bit during that first semester here with us early on. And then for the family members on the call, just some things to throw out to you a little bit. So first, I wish we had more time. We'd love to hear about your college experience and how you chose your career options. We heard a little bit from our president-designate about that. I got some really good advice from my wife-to-be at the time too, Strom. We can talk about that another time. But for the parents and family members, know that for many, many students, a change in direction during their college years is completely natural and normal. Can be jarring, can be scary for the student and maybe you as their family, but no, it's pretty typical, and we want to support them in that. For the family members on this call, if possible, it's really helpful to connect your student to other professionals so they can have conversations about what it's like to work in different fields and get exposure to those. And we've got ways here that I'll just list and not go through today that you as family members can support other Pitzer students. We value that as part of the Pitzer community. It also really helps your student to see that there are a lot of people out there who want to help them. So when you help another student, it shows your student that there are people out there who really want to be of assistance. And then candidly, please know from the Career Center's perspective, we are here as you are as family members to support, encourage, resource, maybe cajole even a little bit students in their career exploration and planning process. But ultimately, this is the student's process. The student has to own that, and we want to help them take that ownership. So with that, here is some contact information, stuff you can follow us. Our Instagram, I have very little to do with it. It's pretty good. You might want to follow us on there, and we will be happy to see you virtually or in person. So thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Preston. At this time, what we're going to do is I want to give Callie Simon Parker, class of 25, a moment to introduce herself before we go to the next portion of the meeting.
Hi, I'm Allie. I'm from Moraga, which is in the East Bay area. As Jill mentioned, I'm a Pitzer class of 25 student, meaning I'm a rising junior. I'm double majoring in American Studies and Media Studies. And I'm actually the second kid in my family to go to Pitzer. So I think that my family, like everyone else has mentioned, has really become immersed in the Pitzer community and has really become a part of the Pitzer community and really loves Pitzer and all that it offers, as well as all the incredible people that spend their time to give you all these opportunities and who are here to work with you and for you. Yeah.
Thank you, Allie. So what we're going to do at this time is have all the students on the call go into a breakoff room, and Allie will go along with you and be able to answer questions. But again, this is your time to kind of meet some faces and get to know other students. But again, we're really pleased that Allie is here. She can just be there available to you to answer questions. So at this time, the students are going to start heading off into the breakout room. And the rest of us will stay and continue talking and possibly doing some question and answers. And so
I just need people to indicate who the students are.
sorry, I forgot. Students.
Oh, you're on mute, Jill.
Thank you, Shannon. All the students, if you can, kind of raise your hand so Brooke knows to have you join the student breakout session. So you might have to come on your screen to show that. Great, I see.
We're
Thank you.
going.
I see he Namali from San Jose, who has his hand up.
He was invited. I'm not seeing any other students raising their hands.
Okay, so no other hands. We have one student joining us soon named Misha. So we'll watch for Misha. Okay, Brooke. Okay, and Allie went with the students too? Great, okay. If any other students are left in the room, please let us know. Otherwise, we can continue.
I didn't get any invite, even though.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Okay, Brooke.
No, yeah.
Thank you. I feel ready, Brooke? Brooke? Okay. Okay, so it looks like we have our students in the room. What we want to do now is actually kind of open it up if there are further questions from families that want to ask us stuff or ask us anything. You know, as you can see, we have a lot of people who know what's going on coming up in the family orientation, move-in date, etc. So number one, are there any questions that we should try to address? Can you put a hand up or something if you want to
Yeah.
ask? Okay.
Hi, this is Roy Hadley in Atlanta. How's everybody doing?
Great.
All right, so I don't know how to raise my virtual hand, so I'll step in here. Quick question for you, just from an administrative standpoint, is there a list of somewhere where it tells me as a parent, i.e. the one that's paying, when stuff is due, like when tuition is due, when housing payments are due, when meal plan payments are due, you know, because I've seen like the forms that the kids have to fill out, but is there like one central place where I can figure out when stuff is due? That's my question.
Any of our panelists want to answer? Elena?
That's a great question. Yeah, so in the chat is the link to our billing and payment information, but an email usually goes out in July from student accounts. It goes to the student.
Okay.
And student then gets to add family members as payees in the system, but that communication will be going out in early July. If you want more information about timelines and all of those things, I would encourage you to go to our student accounts page on Pitzer's website to review all the links and whatnot. But our student accounts office is great. If you have any questions, you can directly reach out to them or you can check out their website.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'd seen that page, but it, you know, again, it didn't say when. So I'll reach out to accounts payable or billing or whatever to get those due dates.
Okay,
you.
Michelle. Great, thank you, Roy. Michelle, Tao.
Similar calendar type question. I've been kind of opening all these links but haven't read them. So general calendar timelines, start, finish, spring break, all that good stuff.
Well, I don't know if any of the other folks want to say something. There is a calendar that is a printable one on the registrar's page. I don't know if other folks, I mean, that one is my go-to because we know they are accurate. So you can get one for both semesters on the registrar's webpage.
And I
this
just
year-
put it in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
It's a 4-year calendar.
4-year calendar.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. How about Anne Torantegua? Torantegui? You want to ask your question, Anne?
Yeah, I'm Anne, and I am from the Philippines. Good morning from here to all.
Good morning.
So I have an incoming son, incoming freshman to Pitzer, all the way from the Philippines. So it is the first time actually, it's his first time actually to be far away from us for a long time. Though, so I just want to, you know, as a parent, I want to know if there are there are programs like emotional support, or when they feel homesick, because this will be his first time to be outside the Philippines for a long time, though he has been to the US. So I'm 7,000 miles away from him, and he's my youngest. So I just want to, you know, to know if there are programs like that in case, things like that will happen. Thank you.
So yes, there are definitely staff who, I mean, I know in the residence halls, for example, our staff understands how and like what to look for, when to refer, when to connect our students. We have great programs, whether it's with our international students, programs that do it consistently and take our students out to that community building that they have in their floors, or to help them meet other individuals through clubs and organizations and stuff like that. But one of the really, I think, outstanding things that Pitzer does well is really support our students, especially in mental health situations. So whether it's, you know, homesickness, or whether they're trying to figure out how they're feeling about certain things, our Strive to Thrive program provides a lot of resources for our students. So it is a typical experience for our students to feel homesick, especially around the 6 weeks mark. So just letting everybody know that's usually when the homesickness kind of starts to set in, the 4 to 6 weeks. And so what we try to do on our staff end is really bump up and really be more intentional with the interactions that we're having with our students, and getting them connected to either offices or staff members or resources.
Can I just
Thank you so much for that.
Can I just quickly add to what Letty shared? And I think Elena would say this, but she had to go. The other thing is our international students form a really strong community very early on. So they'll come and be a part of international student orientation really before the broader orientation session. So there's the broad support that Letty just pointed out, but then there's some specific support to international students who face particular challenges. You know, it's hard, they can't drive home. Right. So there's specific support there too.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Anne. Daniel Cohn, can you tell us your question aloud?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I have a student who has hypermobility issues and who will need health services, and we have out-of-state insurance. We're in New York. I'm just wondering what your experience is with students with out-of-state insurance finding health services in Claremont. I have a son who went to school in Massachusetts, and it wasn't obvious finding people who would take the insurance, etc. That's it.
Okay. Leticia, do you have anything you would say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. If we can be of assistance prior to the student comes, we can absolutely help them in that process. We do have like our student health center that is that the consortium utilizes. And whether it's our case managers who can work individually with your student and connect them to resources, whether that's, you know, needing assistance to get to appointments or needing assistance in finding the care that continuous care. So we have definitely assisted our students in that process. I mean, it's hard going into it and not knowing the insurance situation or anything of that sort. But I do know that we do help our students in connecting with that way. And then also we do have a health insurance option for our students as well. So it really is going to be dependent. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you contact us or your student contacts us before, whichever one, we can definitely help you so that before you get to campus, you kind of have an idea of where to get connected.
And so, sorry to follow up. So we should contact Student Health Services, or we should contact you, or who should we talk to?
Yeah, you can contact the Dean of Students email, and we'll be able to reach out. Or if you wanted to email me directly, I can definitely route that to one of our case managers that can definitely help out in that area. So my email is leticia_romo@pitzer.edu.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Daniel. Okay, and so our last question, I think maybe we'll be able to fit one more in, but Deborah Steinberg, you want to ask your question?
Yeah, thank you. Very nuts and bolts question about orientation. How long should families plan to be in Claremont when we drop our students off?
Does anyone else want to take that? You know, we have a full day of family orientation on Saturday. So the first half of the day is really your student and you moving in, settling in, meeting other folks around you. And then the second half of the day, we have a program for families. And the program will end somewhere around six-ish. Isn't that right, Shannon and Brooke?
That's correct.
Yes, so it's a one day for you. So if you need to, you know, if that's late to travel home, then have a room. Otherwise, you would be able to travel home at that time. Great. Okay. Any last questions at hand, or else we can go ahead and I don't know if we have it programmed, Brooke, to bring the students back in.
Brooke, I think there's one question, Jill.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There's a question in the chat and she was making.
Yes. Hi. Yeah. Thank you. My name is
thanks.
Sushma Whittier. How are you?
Great.
Quick question. Do the students have a social media platform where they can connect prior to the July virtual opportunities that you mentioned?
Yeah, Elena left, who would know everything, but I understand there is always a Facebook page for every single class. So yes, your student will be able to join that group, and there might even be an Instagram for every single class. I don't know if anyone else here, and we could actually ask Allie too when she gets back to make sure, but yeah, the students definitely communicate quite a bit on the social media.
Okay,
I'll look
great.
for those links right now.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Brett.
So
thank you.
So I'm sorry, I know we're out of time, but one more quick question. This is being recorded.
Yes,
so
it is, sir.
How would I find the recording? Would that link be sent out, or how could somebody find it?
It will be on our website. It's on our YouTube channel. And so when I even look at my YouTube, our videos come up.
Okay.
Because I'm part of Pitzer. So we have a YouTube channel, but I'm not sure if we're posting it. There's our YouTube and our Pitzer at Home right there. So, but yeah, count on, if all else fails, you know, YouTube, Pitzer has a YouTube channel, and you'll see a lot of this virtual reception, as well as past things we've done and future things that we'll do.
Okay.
And we'll
Fantastic.
we'll be sending out an email to all participants after the meeting, after we've had a chance to just edit the video. And so we'll be sharing that out as well.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Excellent. So the students choose their classes as soon as they end orientation. They're the only folks who are choosing their classes at that time. There are classes that are saved for first years, but it's I can't tell you the date right now. I don't know if Leticia you can or Brad. But it's at the end of orientation, and then they are the only folks who register that day, all, the first years.
I also
Jill,
saw
I'm
a
so sorry.
question in the chat about when the fall break ends, if it goes all the way until that Friday. And really that depends on your students' schedules. Some students have all assignments that they turn in before finals break, and so they probably can leave the week before. So it's really up to your student when their last final is due, then in what modality that's in.
And we were going to say the same thing. I think Letty just spoke about winter break. I think if the question is about fall break, that's technically just Monday and Tuesday, October 16th and 17th. But if your student doesn't have class the Friday before, then, depending on their schedule and their needs, sometimes they will leave or begin their break early.
Okay. So I think the students are on their way back into the room. Is that right, Brooke? Okay, they're coming back. Are they all back, Brooke? Yeah.
It gave them a countdown. They have 8 seconds.
Oh, that's right. They have a countdown.
They should all be here.
Hey, so welcoming the students back to the main room. And we wanted to, again, we only have a couple minutes left, but are there any questions from students that you came up with a question in the room and you need us to answer? Or does anyone else have a question or a comment that you want to make? How many hands? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ask Allie just to let us know. What day do first years register? Do you know, Allie? And
Trying to remember the registration
Okay.
date. I actually don't know if I know the registration date.
Okay. Any comments to the large group or that from you, Allie, or anyone else?
Well, I don't know. I think we had a really great discussion. We talked a little bit about different internship opportunities, registration, orientation, a little bit about roommates and stuff like that. And so I don't know. I also gave the students my email as well. So if anyone has any other further questions that they want to ask, they're more than welcome to reach out at any point. But I also want to open it up as well to some of the parents on the meeting as well. I know that I let your students ask some questions, but if you guys also want to ask a current student some questions as well, I'm more than happy to answer those too.
Hey. Well, we have a couple minutes, but we can let you go a couple minutes early. We're okay with that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. This concludes our session. So please watch for the family orientation and move-in schedules on our website. And then again, we're going to send you this recording after we edit it and record it, and it will be available on the Instagram site. So thank you to everyone who participated today. You, our new students and families, our speakers, colleagues, and our President-Designate Strom. Thank you to everybody for coming tonight, and see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hopefully to see some of you.
Meet you
Bye.
soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.